Hey everybody, it's Jeff here with Entrepreneur Essentials, and we're back again. And we have my very good friend Peggy Lamb with us today. Peggy is part of my mastermind group and is an amazing massage therapist and all kinds of other cool entrepreneurial stuff that she does. So we'll learn about a little bit about her today and her journey. Right down below me is our subscription button. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, because if you don't get to meet really cool people like this. So Peggy.
Hi, Jeff.
Hello there. Welcome back to town.
Yeah.
Peggy travels a lot, so we see her every couple weeks. So tell me about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about this question because I figured you'd ask it. I really came to be an entrepreneur very much through the back door, a business person anyway. I think I've always had the soul and the heart of an entrepreneur. My grandfather actually owned a Chrysler dealership back in the Depression. It was a long time ago, and he made it through the Depression, and I must have inherited some of his genes, because it was always in me to start stuff on my own and follow through and organize. But I have very little business skills and zero zilch business training, as you might have picked up.
Okay.
So I spent really no business training, because my background, my master's degree is in modern dance, and then I'm a massage therapist, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, so I spent most of my life in the right brain world of massage therapy, body work, and dance and writing, and I had a very successful massage practice, but that's not, I mean, you can maintain that. It does take a certain skill set to market to clients, but I really had no business training at all. And so I was very involved as a dancer and a choreographer, and one thing that I've been blessed with is good organizational skills. Somehow I have that gene for that, because that's not true for a lot of people, especially a lot of people in the kind of world that I come from. Is this kind of grounded, okay, step one, step two, step three, and follow through with it and create it. And I find that to be enormously satisfying when you have an idea and you follow it through to the end. So somewhere in my 40s, I decided, I really want to make some more money.
We've all been there.
Right, because I loved the world that I was in, but I felt drawn to do something else, and I had an idea to write a book for massage therapists, an instructional book. It terrified me. I had no idea how to market it. I love creating curriculum, and I like writing, but marketing it, and websites were new then. This is back in the late 90s. So I actually went to school and took some classes at Richland College on website design and Photoshop and all this stuff. But it was totally, that was because I thought I wanted a side gig as a web designer. I honestly felt that my left brain was dying. It wasn't.
Because you weren't using it at all.
I wasn't using it very much, and I wanted to learn something different. Well, all of that skills that I learned, totally for a different reason, has come in so handy for what I do. So I wrote this book for a massage therapist, and then I was so scared. I was terrified. I was terrified of it. What do I do next? I could write the book, but that was the easy part for me. Well, but then it was like, well, how do you sell it? And I have to build a website. That was fun. I liked building websites. But then how do you sell it? And So little by slowly, I learned how to do all that, and it started to take off. And I created continuing education classes around that, and then I got interested in another subject, and I wrote a second book, and by that time I had a business called Massage Publications, and that was a whole new world for me. Well, I have to market, I have to promote the book, I have to do this and do that, and it was a world that I was not familiar with, and I really wasn't prepared for. One of the best advice I got from a friend when I was saying, I'm just terrified, I don't know what to do. I have to call people and say, you want to buy this book? No, you really don't. She just said, stay curious about how to do it. Just stay curious. Instead of being scared, go, I wonder how I would do that. And so I just have learned on the fly over the years. I've hardly read any business books.
You just figured it out.
I just kind of figured it out. So that's my backdoor entry. And at this point in my life, the whole business part of it is just really interesting to me. And I'm loving our mastermind. I'm loving the coaching I'm doing. And it's like this business persona is evolving and growing in me. And I think it's pretty cool.
Well, and that's the thing I was always impressed by you, because I've dealt with people that are in the right brain world a lot, and you pick it up pretty well. I mean, you pick it up easily.
Good teachers.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be interested in this because this means that it's money to me, and if I do this right, I can actually
make money.
I can make more money doing it. And if I just apply some techniques, and I think for you, that ability that you have of being able to say, okay, let me follow a process. If we can just give you a process, it's easy. Okay, just do these things, and if I do these things, I'll have results in the end.
Yeah. I think that some people are just really born business people. I think you are.
How about that?
And my grandfather probably was,
I'm born
but
psycho.
my parents were civil servants in New York, and so
don't take risks. Don't take risks.
Don't take risks. And so when you're self-employed, you're really motivated to create that cash flow.
Yeah, or you don't eat.
That's right.
So it's a pretty simple process.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about all that you do now. We touched a little bit on it.
All right, so all I do is the majority of my time is spent on the road. I teach continuing education courses for a company called Vine Education, and I have 4 curriculum that I've developed for them. And it's a funny thing. I had applied to them to teach. My first book was called Stretch Your Clients, and it was really born out of my frustration as a teacher, where I would come in and teach these particular stretches, which were really important in injury rehab, and the next day the students would forget them, and I would it's like, well, just somebody bring in a camera. And I thought, wow, what a good idea for a book. Is there anything like that on the market? I'd never written anything like that, but I'd written curriculum. Anyway, and that's how that was born. So I applied to this company 10 years ago to teach, and they accepted me, but they told me somebody else had applied to teach the same course, and he gave me as a reference. He had taken one of my home study courses. So I know, it was really weird, right? So they went to,
might as well go to the source at that point. Yeah.
So I started with them 10 years ago, and that really changed my life big time. And at this point, I have 4 different courses I teach for them. I love what I do. I really, really love being in the classroom. I consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world. The travel part is a little tiring at times. We have a very demanding schedule when we're on the road. We are flown into our first city, then we teach in that city, then get in our car and drive to the next city, set up the class, do all the paperwork, eat, maybe get to sleep about 10 or 11, and then up at 5:30, teach, drive. And so, but I really love it. Go figure, I didn't think I would. And because when I first heard about, when they said this is our business model, I went, what? You know. But I really love it, and I am in an amazing profession. I mean, I interact with massage therapists and physical therapists and occupational therapists and chiropractors. Everybody who's in the world of healing and recovery, and people who really care about other people.
It's not a bad world to be in.
It's a great world to be in, and so that's what I spend most of my time, as you all know, on the road. I'm out, and then I'm home, and then I'm out, and then when I'm home, I'm either working. I just wrote a new book. New book is coming out, or I'm working on a new video, or I'm working on something. Some new project. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have. I'm a project person. Give me a project, I'm happy. Yeah. And so that's what I do a lot of. And of course, nowadays marketing is everything's way more. It seems more complicated because there is, the social media stuff, the MailChimp or email marketing. LinkedIn, and it's like you've got to be on top of that as an entrepreneur, and it is overwhelming at times. It really is overwhelming.
The beauty is that the ability to utilize that to automate your life is
that's true.
Significant. You just have to understand how to do it, or get somebody that
learning
understands.
How to do it. And what I have discovered at T-Werx is that there's so many people here who know how to do it. So what I love about T-Werx is that it's a great resource for people in this that are entrepreneurs who know how to do this different skill set, because you can't do it all.
No, you can't. No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. So we did hear something new in that piece there. So what's your new book that you have out?
My new book is called Stabilizing the Core and the SI Joint for the and it is all about assessment tests and muscle energy techniques to correct core misalignment. So let me just give an example here. A client came into me. A client walked into a bar. Client came into me, and she had very 67-year-old woman, swims all the time. Swimming's really important to her. So, but she was having a lot of pain in her neck. Every time she turned her neck or bent her neck forward, and she couldn't swim. And she had been to several other therapists, maybe even a chiropractor, I'm not really sure, and they had all worked on the area, which would make sense. She probably has a pulled muscle in her neck, and when she swims, she always breathes to the right, so we had to talk about that. Anyway, so they had concentrated on her cervical and upper back area. Again, makes sense. But she would only get about 24 hours of relief. So she came to me, and I did this series of testing for core misalignments. So what I mean by core misalignments is that you have a pelvis, and the pelvis can get really catawampy. It moves in a lot of different planes, and it can get stuck there. So I test for those, and I do simple corrections. These are not chiropractic techniques. I'm not a chiropractor. But what I found on her was several misalignments within the core that kept pulling her off, so the pulled muscle couldn't heal.
Yeah. And so when she's swimming, she's making it even worse by...
Yeah. So we corrected those core misalignments, and in one session she was good to go.
Nice.
So that's what this new book is about, and it's been working really hard to finish it. And
then
done.
Upcoming is a video series to go with that.
Upcoming will be the video, because you got to have a video. So
to have Peggy Lamb. Yeah.
And then will be the video. So that's the next big project for me, is to shoot the video. And then after that, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure I'll find something to do.
All right, fast 5 questions now.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right, so first one. You wake up in the morning, business is totally gone, still have the knowledge in your head, $500 in your pocket, laptop, computer, place to live, and food to eat. What do you do first?
Probably hyperventilate first and panic. And then I think I would be really meditate and think about and remember that I'm a big believer that I'm the creator of my world here, and what can I do to create? I would just get really brainstorm about how can I create streams of income. I probably would get with a bunch of people and say, let's brainstorm, and what can I do to create?
Buy everybody a cup of coffee.
That's right. And let's brainstorm and about how can I create sources of income, because that's happened to people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people have lost all their money.
I interviewed somebody last week that
Really?
that happened to. I mean, it had a very nice big business, and literally almost overnight it evaporated on him, and
So what did he do? What was his answer?
started all over again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he started all over again, a totally different business.
Really?
And went into real estate and has been extremely successful in real estate. But he had to go through that process.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
tough,
it's
man.
just, yeah. So that's why I just let him talk last week. 'Cause
Yeah, really.
That's the best example I can give.
Really,
Yeah.
really, because I think that is always, I don't know about anybody else, but in the back of my consciousness is, you know, I could lose all this tomorrow, and I don't have that parachute, that, you know, I don't have a pension, I don't have this, I don't have that. But what I
But
do,
you know how to make money.
I know how to make money, and I do have my freedom,
Mhm.
and I think that's always probably been more important to me than anything else.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
So, what was your biggest entrepreneurial mistake you've ever made?
Getting, that's an easy one, and getting involved by co-creating a curriculum and with a very dear and respected friend, not realizing the pitfalls of shared intellectual property and not having legal agreements in place, because the whole thing went south. As you know, the whole thing went south. It got very ugly. It got very painful. But I found this amazing lawyer here at T-Werx, and but not really relying on verbal agreements and not having anything in writing, and again, not having some legal stuff in place before we even started off. And you know, having that, I call it the lawyer brain. What are the pitfalls of this, and let's protect even just up to this point. We had thought about it. I had said we need some legal things in place, and we agreed, well, let's see if Vine is gonna buy this course before we even go there, which made sense.
Sure.
And I think what a lawyer would have said, well, what if, even if it doesn't take it, you're still going to have to think about divisions of intellectual property and co-ownership of intellectual property. And that really should have been discussed, because even as I've been putting this book together, I've been imagining, what if I didn't end up buying the rights? That means it would be going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I know some people make that work, and I'm sure it can work, but I bet they had some legal documents in place before they started. So that would be my biggest mistake, is if you're going to get involved with anybody, really hammer out the dirty details that you don't want to look at.
Absolutely. Well, and everybody worries about having a lawyer, and oh my God, it's going to cost so much. If you can't afford an attorney, I mean, you went through a lot and ended up probably spending more going through that process than you would have just papering it right to begin with.
Absolutely,
But,
absolutely.
you know, Legal Shield has a business package that's like $40 a month. Buy it. You're dealing with a full law firm, you know, regional law firm that has lawyers in different categories and everything else. At least that's something better than just trying to figure it out on your own.
Better than Rocket Lawyer.
Yeah, or Rocket Lawyer or Legal
No.
Zooming it. I mean, even that's better than just not doing it. But
Yeah.
but have somebody that you could talk to that can just, I think the best way you put it, the lawyer brain.
Lawyer brain.
Yeah, lawyer brain, they think differently, and they think through a process of what could potentially happen.
That's right.
You know, it's the same thing I do as a financial advisor. Okay, what are
Right.
the things that could potentially happen? Not the glory, you know, oh, this will be the thing that happens in the end. what could happen now.
Right,
that
right.
could cause
I
problems.
bet you and, what's your partner's name now?
Eric.
Eric, I bet you and Eric had it.
Very much so. We have one in place.
Right.
We have
Before you even.
everything is papered. We even have a
Yeah.
buy-sell agreement, because if
Yeah.
we're going to tell people to do it, we have to do it too.
Right, yeah, yeah. So that was the biggest
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, but in the
But
end,
I
it worked out
learned
well.
so much.
Yes,
And-
you did.
And the mastermind group here, I wouldn't have gotten through it without it.
Mhm.
It just was amazing.
There was some. I remember that one time where you just came in that one time and literally said, "I'm giving up, and I just don't want to do this anymore,"
Yeah.
and we didn't let you.
Right. You did.
It was the whole group said, no, you've worked too hard at this, and we're not going to let you do it. And,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
so
and that was that last little push that I think you needed.
It was,
to get past that.
absolutely. And that would be the other piece of advice I would give to any entrepreneur would be have a tribe.
Yeah, surround yourself with other people that are
Yeah.
going through this.
Mhm.
What's a good book that you'd recommend?
Okay, so one of my favorite books that I read years ago
Mhm.
is a book called Money is My Friend.
I like this.
I know, it's a great
Yeah.
title, isn't it? It's by Phil Laut, Laut.
Mhm.
And it is a great book for raising or looking at your issues about money. And I love what he says in there. He said, you know, we should be learning how to sell when we're in kindergarten,
Mhm.
because we're always selling.
Mhm.
We're always selling,
Yeah.
no matter where we are.
If you go into the room and you don't know who the salesperson is, guess what? It's you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it's just a great book, and with lots of fun exercises to do in it. He comes from an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming background, so if you know anything about that, the exercises are really interesting, and it really it changed my attitude about money. I think it helped me manifest more money.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's my favorite.
What's a tool you use every day in your business that you'd recommend?
Okay, yeah, so this is one that Jeff suggested to me. This new thing that I love is called Momentum. I'm a paper and pen person for the most part. It's that kinesthetic activity. So, you know, I have a notebook by my desk where I keep my to-do list. But that gets, I don't know, it kind of gets out of control a little bit. God, so Momentum is, it's not available on a tablet. I haven't seen it as an app.
Well, it's not an app, so it's a
So
browser extension.
It's a browser extension.
Yeah, it's a browser extension on Chrome that you can go in there. So you just go into extensions, search for Momentum, and then you select that and add that to your Chrome browser.
Okay, because I looked for it, but then it really doesn't work,
Yeah.
just as an app. The great thing about it is that it has the date and then a really nice picture, and what do you want to accomplish? One thing you want to accomplish today in the center, and then off on the side of the screen, your to-do list, which you can keep adding to that to-do list and then keep checking them off and moving them. And I find that every time that for some reason, having that up there on my screen has kept me incredibly focused lately, and way more productive lately.
Well,
So
the
that's my
beauty of it
favorite.
is too that every time, so it replaces the
That's
Google
right.
screen
That's right, yeah.
coming up. So it doesn't, when you would normally click a browser, it comes up to Google almost always, or Yelp, or whatever, or Bing, or whatever. Well, this totally replaces that, and this is your landing page when you bring up a web page. So if you start seeing squirrels and wanting to look something up on the internet, every time you bring up a new page,
That's right.
it's going to bring up your Momentum page, and it's going to have that, hey, this is what I said I was going to do today.
Yeah.
And that's the whole Momentum thing, is it constantly keeps you focused on what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's my
Yes.
new favorite thing.
And as ADD as I am, it's the
Yeah,
only
right.
thing that keeps me focused every day.
Because I get ADD too. Ooh, look, there's a squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. I did a presentation this morning on the Wizard of Oz as a business book, and
Oh,
I'm
I love
like,
it.
so now it's no longer squirrels, it's flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys,
Yeah,
right.
it's flying monkeys that are bothering me.
That sounds like a great presentation.
Yes.
Are we going to get any preview of
I
it?
I can do it in the mastermind.
Yay!
So, yeah.
I vote for that.
Yes, I'll do that.
Uh-huh.
How do people get a hold of you?
Okay, well, my website is massagepublications.com. So I'll say that again, massagepublications.com. I have a list of books there, DVDs. I keep my seminar schedule there. So if you're in that world and you're interested in getting on my mailing list, sign up. There's a sign up page there. And if you do sign up, you'll get a free chapter from one of my books.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And she still does massage.
Oh,
On top of
right.
that, oh, by the way.
I keep a small practice and I work with people with chronic injuries. So I had shut down my practice for a while because I was so busy on the road, and I opened it up again last year, and I'm so loving it because I get to put a limit on it of how many people I see, and I'm not really doing Swedish or relaxation massage. I'm really doing very focused rehabilitative work for chronic issues. So I'm meeting some really very wonderful people. So yes, and I also. So let me talk about this a little bit. I also do, I've never let go of my dance. I still dance, and I still choreograph. I just don't do it as much, but I teach creative movement, creative writing to women in prison. That's what I would probably be doing almost full time if I could, because there's something about it that just touches me very deeply. And then I'm also be in Chicago next week. I've choreographed a dance on a
Cool.
company in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where I will be next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's
Chicago in March.
Chicago, back there. I was just there in January. So that's I'm still in the dance world.
Can't take it out of you.
No,
Yeah.
you can't. No, you can't. It's, I
Well,
always
very
say it's a
good.
real deal.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Jeff.
coming over.
Thanks for inviting me.
Folks, this lady is just phenomenal. We hit it off from the very beginning,
Absolutely.
and have continued to hit it off all along. So if you really want to know how to fix issues that you might have, her books are fantastic. They're very straightforward. They're very simple. It's actionable things that you can do, and pictures to say this is how you do it, and also videos to really show you how to properly do it. If you're a massage person, they're awesome for teaching you how to do that. Make sure that you subscribe. Subscription button's right down below me. Get subscribed because we are coming out with these every week, and if you're not subscribed, you might miss one coming out. We'll see you guys here next week.